Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Just getting back from the beach, had a nice chat with Midas Letter today. We talked about Canadian MJ, US MJ. Check out that video. I believe that's going to be on their website. Talked about the overall markets as well. So Monday we pointed out how the top 5 MJ names were based out of the US. That caught my attention. I started paying attention to it for the next couple of days. Nothing stood out, but today it's like that little fly that was standing in my face just turned into a bird that just smashed me in the face, because it's very clear now at this point. We have, look at the names in double-digit gains today. It's US based. So the top 7 names are US based. And admittedly, I don't know what CanX Capital Holdings is, and I'm going to research it after I get off here. But it has 62 cents and 150,000 shares, so I don't care about it. Just completely disregarding it. But other than that, the top 7 names are US MJ. So that should be very clear on a day where the major Canadian names were pretty much up a few percent or down a few percent. APH was down, ACB was down, but we had CGC, Cron, and TLRY up. So it was a mixed bag in the Canadian MJ sector, but a huge bullish green day in the US MJ sector. So now we have to watch how much longer is this going to play out. Is this going to be a pattern that lasts months at this point? Or is it just a short-term correlation with funds shifting around as we head into the midterm election? I do believe with the news that Mexico has now made marijuana prohibition illegal, that is significant. I mean, if you think that Donald Trump, love him or hate him, but if you think he's going to let Mexico make money and Canada make money off this new commodity and the US is going to miss out, I just don't foresee that happening. So I think everything's going to now get this snowball running at full speed ahead to get the US going forward here. And I do think we're seeing that reflected in these stocks. And I think we're going to continue it until CNBC starts talking about it every day. And at that point, you know, uh-oh, the top's probably in, because CNBC has called the top pretty much with Bitcoin by pumping it every day, talking about it every day. And Canadian MJ, we saw the exact same thing. And now we're going to be watching for it in the US sector as well. So we're going to continue watching these major names every single weekend that I have time. I'm just putting in more due diligence in terms of fundamentally and establishing a grasp of who I'm most interested in. I sold off the rest of my MedMen today with beautiful follow through. And again, 30% plus move in a couple days. I lock in that gain every single time and just going to wait for either inability to break this resistance of 567. And if we cannot break that level, we're going to be looking at a lower high forming. So we're going to look at the possibility of a lower high forming compared to 605. Anything under that keeps the daily downtrend intact, but the size of this bounce would have us absolutely looking for a higher low to form and then potential continuation. But we have increasing volume. So if we see that volume increase yet again tomorrow, and we see more than 2.4 million shares traded here, that's going to be extremely notable, and that's going to be a solid buying surge in the USMJ space. And again, there's a lot of other tickers to be looking at. IAN is another one we're watching very closely. MRMD has a really good looking chart on the weekly time frame. So the USMJ plays have my attention as a trader. Still going to obviously be watching CGC and these major names. This week, my game plan was take it simple, take one trade a day. And so far, it's been 4 for 4 days in a row with CGC, just one trade a day, locking in that day maker, and then being able to be hands off. And that's just proving to myself that, you know, I'm not going over the top, because there were days where I was making 20 to 40 trades, and that was getting really intense, and I was playing with big amounts of capital. And so I want to be able to scale it back and know that I can do that and not have it be this, you know, this addiction, because that's what it is. We're releasing chemicals in our brains, and I want to be sure that I'm in control of that. So one trade a day, lock it in, and then be able to not touch anything. That's proving to myself that I'm in control. So SPY today. SPY started the day with a bull move. Actually, let's take that back. SPY started today with a key test of support, and that was down. We were looking at the low of yesterday, 270.37, and then the low of the day yesterday, 270.12. So we had two support levels right there. We came right down, and we were going to test those levels, and Trump put out a perfectly timed tweet where he said, you know, talking to China, we're working on a deal that gets the market bullish. Right now, the market is, a little skittish about the trade war with China, and any kind of deal with China is going to send this market significantly higher in the short term as it has a bullish reaction. So that tweet alone led to the bulls bouncing right off the support. He literally put it out pretty much at the low of the day. The bulls completely turned around and hit a new high of the day after that, and that defended the key support, and we closed with some strength. Now, after hours, we saw a pullback as Apple had a bearish reaction to its earnings. So let's just look at what SPY did after hours, and this is why Apple's earnings are important to your Canadian MJ stocks. Here is the S&P 500 reacting to Apple earnings on the 5-minute time frame. Here is Apple reacting to Apple earnings. Look at CGC. CGC after hours, we're recovering a bit. Right now the ask is 36.89 down here, but this is an after hours reaction. The price dropped down to 36.40 after a close up at 37. So we dropped essentially 2% after hours on the initial reaction due to the correlation with the market overall. So when I say, we need to be watching everything if we want a firm grasp on everything that's going on, Apple's earnings just impacted the share price after hours of some Canadian marijuana stocks names. CRON, not as significantly, but it is down from the close. And TLRY, very clear reaction after hours. That actually had a lot of volume behind it. So that's a multiple percent drop. We closed at 99 essentially, and we dropped down to 95. We dropped down 4% on reaction to Apple earnings. So important to watch. CGC on the daily time frame, an indecision candlestick at the top of a fairly weak bounce. And I say weak because we didn't even get back the entire Monday's candlestick. We are looking for the need of 4-hour consolidation. Same places where we were yesterday. SPY got that consolidation. If you look at extended hours, it ended up being a bull flag, and then that Trump tweet saved a very healthy consolidation period and then saw continuation. CGC did not see that continuation, but it also has not started consolidating on the 4-hour time frame. So we were watching the $40 resistance level with extended hours on. That's the resistance. And we set potentially a lower high here. This is a potential bull flag of consolidation. It doesn't look pretty, but it is healthy and it's contained at this point. So this is so far ideal consolidation for CGC and the Canadian MJ space. If we see a bear break of 35.85, that will tell me that the odds of it being a bear flag or a bull flag are less likely. So right now we have an hourly equilibrium. We have the high of the day, the low of the day, lower high, and the bulls tried to pull off a higher low. So we have a range to be watching into tomorrow morning. 36.39 support, 36, make that 37.77 resistance. So whenever I see a pattern on a certain time frame, how it breaks is going to dictate what the longer term time frame looks like. So if we get an hourly equilibrium and bull break, the odds of this being a 4-hour bull flag leading to continuation and $40 resistance will be significantly more likely. If it's an hourly equilibrium bear break, the 4-hour consolidation will be less likely to be a bull flag. It'll be more prolonged, and then the possibility of an equilibrium on the 4-hour time frame into next week will be the more likely scenario. So the shorter term time frame setup is what to be watching, and then once it breaks, we will zoom out to the 4-hour and see what the chart looks like at this point. But again, just to be very clear, this is healthy consolidation overall, considering the bounce that we've seen to this point. Healthy day for the bulls. APH, a little bit more red today, a little bit more green yesterday, so evening out things a little bit. We have a bearish candlestick. So we have resistance on the daily time frame at 1677, and we rejected from 1664. So that's still a lower high if we look at the 4-hour downtrend. So here we have the bull move, the rejection, the bull move, a lower high, the bull move, another lower high. So new resistance is at 1664. This is very healthy consolidation. Again, same thing, potential bull flag still at this point. And remember what we drew yesterday, the potential of the bullish reversal inverse head and shoulders pattern. This is the formation of the right shoulder, and how tomorrow goes is going to let us know, is it a healthy right shoulder or is it a significant pullback that's going to lead us to more likely to be an equilibrium. The hourly time frame is an equilibrium as well, comparative to CGC, a little bit tighter it looks like, but the range to be watching here, didn't have my magnets on for those lines, but we're looking at 1485 support and 1554 resistance. So that's the hourly range on APH to be watching into tomorrow. ACB on the daily chart, also just setting a lower high, 4-hour time frame. There's the lower high. We're starting consolidation, very little consolidation at this point. Hourly time frame, we have our high and low on the same candlestick, lower high, not a convincing high or low yet. So we're looking down at support of 863 and resistance of 912. Again, how the hourly pattern breaks is going to indicate, zooming out, you can see everybody has the same setup right now. Tight hourly range, healthy 4-hour consolidation, potential bull flag, and how the hourly range breaks is going to dictate the odds of whether that's a bull flag or not. Cron on the daily chart, very similar. 4-hour time frame, doesn't have much consolidation here as well. So looking at the tightening hourly pattern, it's more bullish. We got a bull move at the end of the day, a little bit different. So we closed with a little bit more bullish momentum. You can see the lack of that little brief start of consolidation that these other names do have. So at this point, we're looking down at support of 754 and 722, and we're gonna have to watch Cron and how this 4-hour chart looks on its own. But 848, anything under that is still just a lower high. So not really starting to form that right shoulder as the other names are beginning. And we'll have to keep an eye out if Cron still stays separated from the pack tomorrow. TLRY, weak bounce on the daily, potential bear flag even. 4-hour time frame, sideways consolidation, haven't started pulling back yet. It's still very clearly 4-hour lower highs on TLRY. And we have a bit of a tightening range on the hourly. It's pretty much just the range of the first candlestick of trading today. So the day's range is what we're going to be watching into tomorrow. And pretty much CGC, APH, and ACB have the most clear setup on the hourly and the 4-hour. So we'll be watching those as the leaders. And again, because they have that clarity, that's the reason for that. USMJ, can the bulls keep it up another day tomorrow? And we're going to be watching, again, MRMD. I'll do a US video tomorrow, and we'll go over it all then. We'll do the 6 that I highlighted in the USMJ video. Again, if you have not watched that video, highly suggest doing that. It's an hour long. It's on the YouTube channel, and it is good knowledge for your own due diligence pursuits. So I hope you all continue to do good things. I was wearing a shirt, my Do Good Things shirt today, the TCG shirt, and some random stranger talked about it and made some nice comments. So good message. We'll see you tomorrow. Hope you had a good day. Looks like I can't draw. We're going to look at a lower high forming. Come on. The lower highs are still intact here as well. Don't fail me now. We're on a roll.